What's going on, everybody? I am Melly, the GM of Judge Wisdom on the classic server Peggle, and today we're going to be going over the WoW Wrath of the Lich King Sims on Github. I've used this website quite a bit. Been using it for about 2 weeks now, getting ready for Wrath of the Lich King, and we're into our second week into Wrath launch now. Maybe a little over 2 weeks, I would say, I've been using this, but it's a pretty good tool to kind of pick your items for your for upgrades, like an upgrade planner type tool. I know some people have used the 80 upgrades or used the pre-built ones on the Wowhead guides. This one's pretty good. I like this one personally. I was a huge fan of the raid bots for retail WoW. I have premium subscriber. I did a lot on that. I love the numbers and the calculations and stuff. So when I couldn't find anything similar to this for TBC, I was kind of a little bummed. I had to rely on a lot of the Discord chats and a lot of the spreadsheets that people made and theory crafting. So when I found this, I was super excited. This is very good for DPS. They've recently added tanking features on here, which is super nice. Paladins, DKs, Druids, Warriors. Unfortunately, there's no official healer sim. It is nigh impossible to sim a healer, even in retail. You can't sim what's not there, right? Damage taken, etc. So, with that being said, this website isn't completely null and void for healers. You can still put in your stat weights or EPVs, your equivalency point values, in here manually, and still find upgrades for your character. You can still use this as a character planner for healers, but it's just not going to be as efficient as other sites offered, in my opinion. Wowhead's a good one. 80 upgrades is really good for that too. But this for DPS, I think it's unrivalable. 80 upgrades is good. Like I said, the Wowhead's good, but this is just this checks all the boxes for me. I used it to create That's My Abyss list for my raid, and yeah, so we'll just get into it. I said they cover all the DPS and the tanks. So I'm gonna go to Ellie Shaman. I'm very familiar with this one. As you can see, I have pre-built out pre-mades here. I'm maining Ellie Shaman for phase 1 of Wrath of the Lich King. My guild's doing 10-man, so just going to a generic Wowhead website and clicking on, what's my BIS for phase 1? That doesn't really work for me, just because I am only doing 10-man raids. I'll plug a few 25s here and there, but when I was filling out my BIS list for my raid, for our loot council, it didn't really work to just copy and paste what's on a Wowhead or Icy Veins guide, so I use this to create it. So we'll just start with the talents, and we'll work our way over. So it's very simple. You have your glyphs over here and your talents. Right click to remove a talent point, left click to add a talent point if you want to have your own unique build. Otherwise it comes with standard build. So here's the standard build. I have a slightly different build based off of my raid team. So for instance, my raid team has an enhanced shaman already, so I'm not going to go for like enhancing totems or improve ghost wolf. I went for a little bit more mana cost stuff. Just personal, whatever your raid team, whatever you have for your talents or your raid teams is what you can work for here. So pretty simple talent tree builder here. All right, here is the settings page. This is very important. Depending on your raid comp. So 25-man, more than likely you're going to have all the raid buffs, all the raid debuffs, etc. Like I said, we're running a 10-man guild, so we weren't able to cover everything. So I have this pre-filled out to what my raid provides, even per person. So while Boomkin and Ret can do haste, we have a Ret, so I filled it in. I don't have spell hit, so I took it out. It's pretty simple to add or remove, so you just hover over this, and then left-click on the buff to add it, right-click on the buff to remove it. You got to do it in this box. If you try to do it right here, it's gonna bring up the menu, right? So pretty simple. Here you can do potions, consumes, elixirs, whatever. We're doing fish feast. I know I'm gonna use this elixir. Potion of speed. Probably gonna use another potion of speed. So this one is 1 second before combat. So this is your pre-pot, and then your combat potion. If you wanna like min-max and use runes or whatever, flame caps. There's a whole bunch of things you can do. If you don't want to use elixirs, You could do, excuse me, if you don't want to use Flask, you can set elixirs, Guardian, and Battle. You can be, this is very customizable. You can even go as far as like, well, I want to pop my trinket, and this at certain times, intervals, whatever. Like I'm gonna pop it 20 seconds in, right? So you can be as granular or as simple as you want. I'm just gonna do simple. It pops it on cooldown. Otherwise, there's tooltips on all these that'll kind of let you know what you're doing. So each class is gonna have different things. Mine's got totems, so I do this. I can select what totems I'm dropping. Rating counter, duration. This is in seconds, so 3 minutes by default. Duration plus or minus 5 seconds. When it's doing the sims, it'll do plus or minus 5 seconds on each one. This is very important to set up your player. So I'm a Draenei Shaman. I am a Herbalist and Inscriptionist, so make sure to put those in there. And then you can go as far as like customizing your rotation, or just use the default. Like if I'm going to be in Thunderstorm Rage, for instance, like if there's an ad boss or something like on Sarth, right? When all the little Twilight Drakes come out, I'm probably going to be in Thunderstorm Rage. So I'm going to go in and do, I'm in Thunderstorm Rage. I should say by default, this is Patchwork Sims, so it is one boss. You can change it. Custom, right? You can change it. NPC custom, undead, what level, if you want to add plus or minus armor. So Patchwork Fight is a single boss, one boss. You stand there, no movement. Kel'Thuzad is some ads in the phase, and then a single boss plus a few ads in the end, and you so on and so forth. So you can change how this works. Most simulations, you're just going to run Patchwork unless you're like specifically trying to min-max your DPS on a specific fight where like a certain stat for your class is better for AoE than it is for single target. Then you can go ahead and use this. The sim lets you do that. So this is basically the overview for this website, or for this page, the settings page here. Next we're going to get into gear. Up here it's going to have a error if you have any issues. So because I'm not a jewel crafter and I have a dragon's eye socketed on these pieces right here, it's going to let me know, hey, you're not a jewel crafter, or I'm not a tailor for this light weave embroidery, and you're saying that you're socketing it. So that's why I'm getting the errors. So I have created my own personal ones. I have my current gear because I like to see on the edge of your seat, as you're running a dungeon and something drops, hey, is this an upgrade for me? I could just click, hey, some solars drop, search them, whatever, and are they an upgrade? Well, based off of my current stats, no, they wouldn't be, etc. So you have different sets. I have current, and then when I was creating that's my BIS list, I have a one-handed set and a two-handed set. I'm just trying to sim which one was better for me. Like I said, I love this stuff. I love trying to min-max my character per se. So that's what I did on that. So this is, like I said, quick overview. You could save gear. You can name it, save it here. Next thing we'll cover is stat weights. So this is kind of like the bread and butter of this whole thing, is your stat weights. So when it's simulating your DPS and your equivalency points, it's going to be equivalency points is your stat weights, right? So I've already done this preemptively. My current equivalency points or stat weights, more or less, are already in here because I've already simmed. But if you wanted to, like, if I get a new piece of gear and I want to come in here and change or figure, hey, what's my new stat weights? I come in here and you click calculate, and it's going to spin, and then it's going to kick off. Each class is different. Ellie Shaman is 18,000 iterations. Ret Paladins are like 42,000. It's just whatever the designer of the specific class at the time of creating this is going to be. So this has changed slightly since last time I ran it. So this is my current. So intellect is 0.35 versus where I had it previously at 0.16. Hit, for instance, my hit stat weight is so much higher now because I'm under hit cap than when I was previously. So if you want to update your current EPs, you can just click this button after you've ran the calculate, and it will copy these over here. And that's it. It's automatically saved. You don't have to click a save button. Just click exit. and now items are showing different bonuses for me, or different points for equivalency. So like pluses are obviously DPS gain, and minuses generally are DPS loss. Not to say that, switching some pieces of gear around that you can't make. I don't know, like I really like these statted shoulders, right? I don't know, like this. It's switching some stuff around. You can make it work, right? So you just click the simulate button, and that's going to be your DPS. Tanks, you're slightly different. I'm not going to go over you guys. I'll just touch briefly on it. But your stat weights are slightly different. You have DPS equivalency points. You have threat per second DPS or equivalency points, and you have damage taken per second equivalency points. So armor, for instance, 100% of the time, let me rephrase that. Most of the time, armor is not going to be damage per second gain. There are some talents like warriors. I think it's armor to the teeth. You get attack power per armor. So yeah, you're going to get some armor for that. But your DPS, or your damage taken per second equivalency points, this value is going to be much higher for armor than these two values. So like I said, I don't play tanks, so I haven't played around with this, and this is relatively new. So it should be pretty simple. Hey, I want to focus on this fight. I'm an off tank. I have to tank this one mob for 10 seconds. I still have to be a tank, but I want to damage. I want to maximize my DPS. You're gonna try to focus on this. Threat and then damage taken. Hey, I'm the main tank. My threat's fine. I have no problem with threat, but I'm getting absolutely walloped. You're gonna want to focus on damage taken per second equivalency points. Try to make your healers struggle less, right? So back over to my shaman here. All right, so when selecting gear, these stats over here are live. So if I swap a piece of gear, like this has got spell haste, so I swap it to spell hit, I change it, it's automatically going to change these to whatever I select. So in addition to that, let's go to the helm, for instance. I'm going to select your helmet. You're going to select whatever helmet you want. Enchants, same thing. They're going to have equivalency points, right? So, because it's got stats, right? 22 spell power, 14 hit rating. This one's saying it's really good for me because I'm low on hit, right? So it's going to be like, well, this one's better than this other one over here. Same thing, chaotic, or excuse me, not chaotic. The metagems are a little weird, right? Because for the one that I have socketed, the chaotic one, it is actually lower because this is 21 crit strike rating and 3% increased crit damage versus the 12 crit rating. I'm not sure why this is actually showing lower. Right. Doesn't make sense, but you're going to want to go with level 81 versus level 70. Not 100% sure why that's showing as higher, but you'll know what you want. And then the gems here, match socket. So this is a red gem, so it's only going to show orange, red, and purple. If you were like, hey, I don't really care about matching the socket bonus, you can click this button off, and then I can go ahead and throw yellows or whatever in there if I don't care about socket bonuses. And yeah, that's pretty much how you customize a piece of gear. Like I said, anytime that you change something, I highly recommend rerunning your stat weights, getting the most accurate, up-to-date stat weights, and going from there. One thing I will note here when selecting gear, go back to this real quick. So, for like I said, my raid 10 man. So when doing the BIS list, it was hard because obviously this is going to be amazing, right? Also, this isn't 100% proper because this is clearly from Ulduar, but it's showing here, so just keep an eye out for that. But this, for instance, right? This is from Sarth 25 man. It's an amazing helmet, solely based off of the stat weights. I'm probably not going to be able to do this with my raid. We're not gonna do 25 man, right? So, adding this. Well, yes, this is a DPS upgrade. Adding this for something for my BIS list isn't feasible because we're not going to be killing 25 mans and doing loot council on it. So we'll just be doing 10 mans. So it's pretty cool how we can do this here. So you're looking for item level 200, or there are some bosses like Sarth when you have multiple Drakes or Kel'Thuzad or Malygos that do drop the 213. And I use multiple third-party websites or in-game add-ons such as Atlas Loot, Wowhead, to kind of like figure out where the drop comes from. This works pretty well. Here it says drop by Sarth at the bottom. Obviously this tier is not dropped by anything. It's dropped by tokens, right? Dropped by Gothic, Thaddeus. Then you'll have some Malygos. So I know 226, 25-man Malygos. So it's just a knowledge thing. But here's, for instance, right? No drop. What is this? You can right-click on the piece, open a new tab. It will open a Wowhead thing. And you can scroll down to the dropped, and you can see that this is a shared boss loot. So it is Gluth, item level 200. So it's 10-man. Gluth and Thaddeus dropped this. So that's why on this it's not going to say, hey, this is dropped by this one boss, because it's dropped by multiple. So it's shared. This list right here will also have crafted pieces. It will have Valor, heroism emblem pieces, dungeon drops, questing. There's quest screens all the way down here. So it's just important to note what you're looking for, and it never hurts to use like third party. Like I said it once, I said it again. Atlas Loot in game is phenomenal for distinguishing 10, 25-man drops. I just had this. I had it on multiple monitors and was just going to town, selecting what I wanted. And yeah, that's pretty much it for the gear selector. I will say there are some caveats to this. Trinkets and Sigils, you see they're all zeros. Just because this is EP, right? This is your stat weight. Well, this doesn't have raw stat weights on them. It's just your whatever does extra or time. So when selecting some of this, I recommend just selecting one or using like a third-party website or your class Discord, trying to figure out, hey, what's my best totem, right? Or what's my best trinket? You can just select something. Let's say, so I have Hex right now, right? So I'm gonna sim real quick. If I want to say, okay, well, this Hex is good, but is something better, what you can use here is click this pin. It will pin this number that you've just simmed. Switch totems. Let's swap to the, this is the heroism one I had earlier. You can rerun the sim. And with this current gear, it is 66 DPS less than what if I'm running the Totem of Hex. So it is. That's one way you can do it. Same with trinkets. There's no EP value. You're just gonna have to kind of either, like I said, use other resources, class discords, Wowhead, guides, your personal knowledge, or sim out this gear yourself. Other than that, that's pretty much all we have here. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope it's helping. Hope it helps a lot. And yeah, have a good day, everyone.